Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at Tikva and my first victim, even before we start. Can you tell them your name?
My name is Penina Rosenberg.
And I know from the few seconds that we spoke prior to this that you do Instagram nowadays
Yes.
primarily. Can you talk a little bit about your Instagram life?
Okay, so what I do nowadays is I try to promote charity. First of all, that's the reason I started doing my Instagram, and to promote modesty. That's pretty much what I do on my Instagram.
Can you talk a little bit about Tikva, the cause for Tikva, what we're doing today, what the event is about?
Okay, Tikva is an organization that supports children, forgotten children in Odessa, Ukraine. What I support this organization is important to give a chance to these children to have a future, I'm sorry, that they wouldn't have if it's not because of Tikva.
Okay. How do we know that Tikva actually works and the kids get the money and it's not stay like in someone's pocket? Like, how do we know the transparency of the organization, the honor that they deliver?
Okay, personally, I know a couple of kids from there. One of them is Joseph. So it's a living, how you say it, proof of that. He nowadays is a lawyer in architecture, I think so. So I've met a couple of them already. So I'm for sure that they really do this for the children.
Do you think there is a connection between having someone an Instagram account, something that's kind of moves? Oh, now we have a little bit better light here, guys. You see how we better light? I don't see those shades, and we get more like a straight look. So, what is the help that Instagram can do for the noble causes? How the nonprofit organizations can use Instagram? What are the resources available to the Instagram folks?
Okay, so first of all, I think that any type of social media it's helpful for any charity, especially Instagram. Nowadays, everybody is attached to their phones. Most of women are like looking what somebody else is wearing. Just take a look at Esther. Today she's with us, and in a couple of minutes when she went and talked about Tikva, there was people already asking me on my Instagram about Tikva, what it's about and all of this stuff. Any social platform is like the perfect way to reach more people because just standing here and asking for people to come to your event is not as easier as it would be to them seeing something from somebody they believe in. That's why.
I film at YouTube Space, which is a few blocks away from here in Google Studios, and the Instagram studios in the Park Avenue, not so far from here. So for the Instagram folks, once you register the account as non-profit, you don't have to have such a big numbers as I have in order to use the studios. It's much smaller numbers, and the support that Instagram and Facebook give to the non-profit organizations is tremendous. You get free studio, you get free equipment, you get a lot of passes, you get like media passes for different events, and it's really helpful to kind of they want their platform to be used for the non-profit for the noble causes. So guys, definitely Instagram is a great space to play with. What's your Instagram, remind me?
Penina Rose.
Guys, check it out, some cool pictures there. May I ask what's your name?
Anna?
And you sponsor today Tikva Bar event.
Yes.
Can you talk about a little bit about the cause that why we're here?
I love the organization, how it sponsors the Russian community out of Odessa. I'm actually from Ukraine, and I think it's a great cause. It helps a lot of children out of Russia, and they find their heritage without actually going somewhere very far like Israel. And most of our wines today are actually Israeli wines. They're all kosher, and it's a great cause, and we would love to be a part of it each and every year. It's actually my second year with Tikva.
What do you get as a sponsor of the event? You bring your liquor, you sponsor. What's your interest in this? Do you get satisfaction from being
A company called Top Tastings, where we do demo tastings for the liquor companies, and they're actually my clients. Yana, which is the organized ambassador for Tikva, asked me to do a sponsorship, which I never did 2 years ago, and I finally did it, and that's how we became about of sponsoring. I never thought I can get people to sponsor for such a great cause, but apparently if you have a good cause, it's easy to donate. And as you can tell, we have amazing clients, over 15 over here today.
If folks would like to look at your bar and your product, what's the Instagram? How they can look you up? Do you have like Instagram?
Yeah, of course, Top Tastings on Instagram or Facebook.
Guys, check it out. We'll have some drunk folks here tonight. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, next to me is another friend of Yana, Gene, and he is showing the demonstration on the VR from the Tikva in Odessa. So Yana filmed it personally herself, and hopefully Gene will get a lot of people to see the show today, like the event, through the eyes of VR. What I like about VR that it breaks, like basically you cannot see nothing but what in front of you. So like everything else is blocked, and you get like 80% more empathy and involvement in what you're watching versus like if you watch it's on regular TV or like it gives a lot of more attention. Can you talk a little bit about the project that you're doing?
Absolutely. So a lot of the people that are involved in Tikva are never actually going to be in Odessa, Ukraine, for various reasons, and they will never see what their sponsorship does and the benefit that it does directly. They will only hear of it, they will see it. And so this is one of the ways that we're trying to bridge this 5,000-mile gap between New York and Odessa to bring the environment of Tikva literally or virtually into the environment of the people that are supporting it. And once we can make that connection, that tangible, that hands-on connection, we feel like it won't only close that distance gap, it'll also close the mental gap between the things that people are doing and the effect that it's having.
Like people try to get involvement in various matters. How do you think you're doing the VR, which is absolutely something that, like I said, have a lot of empathy. What other things that Tikva can do to close that gap?
Well, I think obviously one of the best ways is to get the people that are involved in Tikva in New York more in touch with the things that are going on in Odessa. Getting them involved in various ways, some physical, some virtual, but also human. Right? So getting the people in Odessa, I personally am from Odessa, and
Me too.
yeah, okay, fellow Odessit. So to us, it's a very real thing. It's not this faraway land that exists in abstract. To us, it's tangible. And so if we can make it more tangible to everybody else that's not from Odessa or hasn't been to Odessa, I think that's going to have in my opinion, the greatest impact.
What is the greatest asset of Tikva besides Yana?
It's obviously the people and the community of Tikva. That's obvious.
There are so many other charities around, and many Jewish charities and very noble causes. Why Tikva? What's special about Tikva?
I don't know the best way to answer that question, but what I know is when I went there personally, and I went to the Tikva schools and facilities in Odessa, I really wasn't, I wasn't involved in any way before. And as soon as I went there, as soon as I saw it, it was immediate. I immediately knew that I had to be part of this, that this is doing so much good on earth that, it would be on my conscience if I didn't become part of it.
What do you, as the hedge fund guy, as the finance guy, gets out of it? It's not numbers, it's empathy, it's feelings, it's emotions. Like when you go home at the end of the day, how do you feel about after you coming from this event? Like, what's your feeling, or you think you're gonna be?
Well, first of all, obviously, you look around you, and these people that are contributing, they're contributing because they can. And people that can contribute are obviously, they're interesting to talk to. And so there's that community aspect of it where what the people here take away is the company of other people, and that's just the surface. I mean, obviously the most impactful thing is the thing that the money goes towards for in Odessa, and like I said, having seen it firsthand, you know, to me, that's the takeaway that probably matters more than anything. But it's nice to be here, well-dressed people, beautiful people doing a good thing. Can't not like it.
Okay. If folks would like to ask you perhaps more questions about what you do you have like Instagram by any chance?
No, I think I just missed Instagram by a couple of years.
What about like Facebook, whatever the social media platform you use?
Facebook, LinkedIn. I am the only Gene Exter on Earth. So if you just Google Gene Exter, you'll find me.
Guys, look him up. He might have something to say.
sure that this event is a great success. I want to say thank you to our alcohol sponsors. I want to say thank you to our caterer. I want to say thank you to AV. I want to say thank you to our fabulous DJ Arye. Hi Arye. I want to say thank you to Jean, who is hosting the virtual reality booth. Thank you, Jean, very much. And I want to say thank you to just all of you for being here and allowing us to share Tikva's work with you. And now I'm going to actually speak, so give me just a minute. Thank you. So many of our guests in the room tonight are just learning about Tikva for the very first time. While it's hard to sum up the enormity of Tikva's mission and impact, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you just a little bit about what Tikva does. While in Russian, Tikva means pumpkin, I was amazed to learn that in Hebrew, Tikva actually means hope. After all, there is a meaning behind it. And it is exactly what we bring to nearly 1,000 children currently in Tikva's care. 289 orphans and social orphans living in our 3 homes and 2 dormitories, and additional 650 children from underprivileged families who attend our schools. Tikva began as a search and rescue mission after the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. Out of sheer despair, and probably as a result of unbearable poverty, citizens of the fallen government turned to drugs and alcohol, crime and prostitution as their savior. This left a generation of innocent children to fend for themselves, or otherwise fall victim to abusive home environments. In response, in 1996, Tikva created their first home, an educational institution, and eventually a community that would become the lifeline of Odessa's most vulnerable. Today, Tikva has 3 homes, an infant's home from birth to 6 years old, a boys' home 7 to 17, a girls' home 7 to 17, and additional dormitories for our older boys and girls. Today, Tikva also has 6 schools, a Jewish university, a community, a synagogue, and a revitalized life, what many would not have imagined of 25 years ago. Since its inception in '96, Tikva has been home to over 1,000 children. It has educated more than 2,500 children, out of which about 750 of our beneficiaries made Aliyah. Some even joined the IDF. Our early beneficiaries are now having babies of their own, building Jewish homes, and are now the pillars of the Odessa Jewish community that didn't exist when they were growing up. Tikva continues to evolve in response to changing need of community. Everything from special needs programs to psychological care to vocational training and to so much more. You have to see it to truly understand it, which is when Esther is going to come up in just a few minutes to share with you what she had not just understood but experienced. When you walk into the shul that's at the center of Tikva community, you will see an orphan child laughing and playing with her little friend. And then when their play date is over, one will go home, and one of Tikva's children will go back to one of our homes. And the other will go home to mommy and daddy, who herself grew up in a group home without a mother. Our goal is to have each child a chance to grow into a functioning and contributing member of the society, to have the capacity to love and to give, perhaps raise a family in a home like they only dreamed of as a child. Our goal is to give hope where once there was none. In the following video, you will see many beautiful faces of the young people we lovingly call Tikva's children. I hope you will take interest in learning more about our programs, and it will be my pleasure and honor to answer any questions this evening and thereafter. Thank you.
In 1994, there were approximately 45,000 Jews living in and around Odessa, Ukraine. But the vestiges of the once vibrant Jewish community had been reduced to a quorum of elderly men. Together, they gathered to pray in the entryway of the last community-owned synagogue. The main sanctuary had collapsed decades earlier. That same year, Rabbi Shlomo Baksh arrived in Odessa as part of an outreach program to teach Jewish culture and values. Over the next few years, years, he started an elementary school, reclaimed the Great Choral Synagogue, and initiated the rebuilding of the Odessa Jewish community. But in 1997, Rabbi Baksh became aware of the plight of Odessa's abused, abandoned, and orphaned Jewish children. What he learned was that without a safety net, without social services, families were reduced to poverty and despair, leaving thousands of Jewish children to live in abusive home environments, on the streets, or worse, in state-run orphanages. UNICEF reports tragic outcomes for these children. 70% will engage in crimes ranging from petty theft to prostitution and homicide. The suicide rate hovers at 15%. Finally, in a tragic cycle of hopelessness, 85% of the next generation of abused, abandoned, and orphaned children will be produced by these children. No one gets to choose where they are born, whether born into the loving arms of eager young parents or into a home plagued by hardship and squalor. It's chance, not merit, that decides where our lives begin. In response, in 1997, Rabbi Baksh took in his first 6 homeless children, and Tikva was born. Over the next 20 years, Tikva would become home to over 1,000 children. Tikva's children are nurtured on a foundation of values that emphasizes love, Jewish identity, and lots of fun. The 300 children in our care today are integrated into our Odessa Jewish school system, alongside 600 other children who come from intact homes. Over the years, we have developed over 100 different support programs with the objective of giving our children the same chance at life that should be the birthright of every child. Our goal is to never let our children go to school feeling like they have less. When they graduate from our care, they have the same opportunities as their classmates. When they grow up and start their own families, they have the tools to nurture and provide for their own children in their own homes and forever break the cycle of despair that brought them to Tikva.
Your dedication may not be enough. It's look, these kids wind up being affected by the love of the organization. That's the way they're able to save lives.
I didn't feel like I was in an orphanage. I felt more like I was in just a big new family with a lot of siblings. At 6, when I came to Tikva orphanage, all those kids they took me and showed me all around. Like, this is your bed, this is your closet, this is what you're gonna have, this is dining room, this is the counters. They were introducing me to basically like you moving to an old home. It was like the biggest dream of my life.
I've had such a good life and such good experiences in Tikva that, to me, Tikva feels like home. Like, that's my second home. When I tell you Tikva goes above and beyond, it's insane. I think Tikva gives you what it offers. I don't think there's a better place than that.
I have 9 grandchildren, and when I first started to think about Tikva and see the pictures of the kids, you can't help but think of your own grandchildren. When you realize that these kids might not have anything, and then you compare them to what you're able to do for your own, I just find that there's a miracle going on here in terms of what these kids are getting.
Just going back to that moment is with a lot of butterflies in your stomach, basically. Moments.
Thank you for your attention. So before Esther in just a minute is going to come up to speak, I see that she's shedding some tears already. You didn't even start talking, girl. Stop it. Anyways, first of all, I want to acknowledge a few people out of the video. I want to acknowledge some of the board members that we're very fortunate and lucky to have in the room with us. I want to acknowledge our chairman of the board, Ed Frankel, and his lovely wife, Julia Frankel. I want to acknowledge Keith Frankel. I'd like to acknowledge Phil Gross, Scott Newman, and Jonathan Gersberg. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. I also want to acknowledge a few of the children that were in this particular video are amongst us tonight. So Raya and Yosef, wherever you are in the room, you're amazing. Thank you for always being here. They're pure examples of what Tikva is and what Tikva does. That they come out, they support, they're always here, they're contributing to their community in the ways that they can, and it's just so beautiful. I also want to acknowledge Lisa, who's here with us today, although she's not in the video. We have too many kids to feature, you know, we'll try to spread it out. So thank you for being here. And now I'd like to transition to inviting our fabulous Esther, but before that I wanted to share a quick experience of how I got to meet her and connect with her, and how Tikva got so fortunate to have someone so special to come to us and to join as our ambassador and as hopefully our family for many, many years to come. So not long ago, I had a pleasure of coming to meet a very unique and vibrant woman named Esther Silverberg. We spoke on the phone a few times, and I learned her fascinating story. Adopted into a loving family, biologically descended from Odessa, from her maternal side, and married to a Russian-speaking man whose family is from Odessa. It was clear to me that there was something there. There was some sort of synergy we had to explore further. This woman was on a journey to learn about her roots and to connect. What I didn't realize is that the same woman who's a fashion social media influencer with over 330,000 followers on Instagram is also one of the most genuinely giving, kind-hearted people I've ever met. And I really mean it. She's straight, she's powerful, she's a ball of fire, and she's a go-getter. She's my partner and a fellow do-gooder that I'm so lucky to have on my team.
Yeah.
Getting her husband and 2 children onto a 15-hour flight was no doubt daunting, but she did it with grace and elegance. And her only takeaway from the Tikva experience was, how can I help these children? What can I do to make a meaningful and lasting difference? And I'm here to stay. Before we even had a chance to answer, she was already summoning her followers, friends and family to share in her experience and in her commitment to help Tikva on its life-saving and educational mission. I would like to call upon this very special person who Tikva is so lucky to call our ambassador and the new member of the Tikva family, Esther Silverberg. And on behalf of Tikva's staff, board, and most importantly on behalf of every boy and girl at Tikva, I'd like to present her with an award as a small token of our appreciation. I get it.
Thank you so much. I'm truly humbled to receive this honor. I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you who are here tonight. I wouldn't be here without the love and support of my best friend, who happens to also be my husband, Sasha. Sasha and the S here, Sasha. My maiden son, Jack, who is not just my eldest son in Bechor, but also my personal photography and paparazzi. And of course, my incredibly supportive family and to my queen, my inspiration, my source of life and love, my mother, Eva Silver. I know it may seem hard to believe that I really do not like public speaking, considering I publicly speak to hundreds of thousands of people a day, but talking to a room full of faces is very different than talking to my cell phone. However, I sucked it up, knowing that as a human being with a voice and a platform to use my voice, that it was my responsibility to be the voice of the children of Tikva. When Yana reached out to me a year ago and told me about Tikva and what they do, I was immediately curious. I wanted to know more. I very often get contacted by different charities to get involved and to help spread the word, hashtag Instagram. And although I respect and value all charitable work, I made a vow to only promote organizations that I'm directly involved in, which is how my mission to Odessa was born. Before sharing or posting, as we say in the social media world, anything about Tikva and what they do, it was important to me to go, to see, to understand firsthand what Tikva does, what they do, and what they stand for. And boy, was my mind blown away. Tikva isn't just a home. Tikva is a world. Tikva is a lifestyle. Tikva is a life source. What they do is absolutely mind-blowing, and what I saw, life-changing. Tikva not only gives these beautiful souls a warm bed to sleep in every night, a hot kosher meal 3 times a day to eat, and beautiful clothing to wear. Tikva gives them love. Tikva gives them an identity, and not just any identity. Tikva gives them a strong Jewish identity and hope for a real future. Did you know that Tikva not only has homes for these children, which I thought before actually visiting Odessa, Tikva has schools for them to attend each day. And in these schools, the Tikva children are together with other children from the community who come from regular homes. Tikva begins to integrate the kids into the real world from day one. From day one, the orphans and displaced children are in school with children from regular functioning homes. How brilliant is that? From day one, they are treated no differently than anybody else. Tikva's goal is to help the children transition into self-sufficient, contributing community members, whether it's to stay in Odessa and thrive in the revitalized Jewish community, or make Aliyah and join the IDF with the help of Tikva's midway home in Yerushalayim. Thousands of children have gone through Tikva, and over 600 children were born to Tikva children. How amazing is that? And this is why I fell in love with Tikva. Tikva stands for all the principles in life that I stand for, and all the principles my father taught me. I'm getting a phone call. I'm talking about timing. Where was I? Tikva stands for all the principles in life that I stand for, and all the principles my father taught me and raised me with. He taught me to give, to love, to accept, to be kind, and to take care of our Jewish brothers and sisters and children who are less fortunate and who are in need. Here's a short video and a small glimpse into my incredible trip. to take this moment to share with you all that in my father's honor and in his name and loving memory, my incredible husband, I left that word in for you, myself and our children will be donating and rebuilding the recreational field at the Tikva school in his memory. The recreational field is where the children have recess and play every day during the school year, where important school functions and gatherings are held, where the first bell and last bell of the school year is rung, and where all the school graduations take place. I am honored to introduce to you the new and improved Lobo Field in honor of Chaim Lobo Silver. May his neshama have an aliyah and his name be of blessed memory. Amen. At this time, pledge cards will be passed around and can be found at tables. If you feel moved and inspired to give, please consider making a donation tonight. Thank you guys all for coming. It means the world to me. Thank you. My beautiful mom, my mother.
Some nights I stay up, casting in a battle. Some nights I cry in a drum. Some.
Thank you everyone so much for your attention. And now with a little musical break, I want to introduce to you the chairman of Tikva's board, Ed Frankel, who has been serving on the board of Tikva for just about 20 years.
Congratulations, Esther. We really appreciate it. Can you hear with this microphone feedback? I met with many of you this evening, and many of you are in the business of selling clothing, selling stocks, selling real estate. I've sold all my life. I'll listen to you if you listen to me back there, please. This is a tough sell. There are a lot of young, handsome, and beautiful people here today. To sell a place in the Ukraine and orphans in the Ukraine has been a difficult job, but we've done it for 20 years. We have a huge budget that has to be satisfied every year. We hope you'll understand that, and someone here this evening is going to match whatever you cumulatively give tonight. So please give, because it'll be doubled tonight. Thank you so much. We need your help.
Thanks everybody for your attention. There's some people in the room, the waiters, that are walking around with pledge cards. And if you feel inclined and if you feel moved and inspired by Esther's beautiful speech and by our video and by everything you've heard tonight, we hope that you give from your heart whatever it is that you've done. Thank you so much again. And we're going to resume the musical program in just